Okay, the next one, all of our American viewers are gonna like. Christian Pulisic, somebody who Klopp seems to have adored for a very long time. Klopp openly admitted before he signed to Chelsea that if Pulisic wanted to join Liverpool, then he has an open door here. This is coming from CF Bayern or Christian Falk, who is the head reporter of Bild Sport in Germany. And, we were heavily linked with a move for Pulisic before he joined Chelsea. As a Sadio Mane replacement, Colin, he's not the striker that we've been led to believe that we're going to be signing. But Klopp seems to be a very big fan of Pulisic. Do you think this transfer could happen?
I don't think it could happen, but because why would you strengthen a direct rival, right? Because they're all going to be competing for the same, like the Champions League, the Premier League, and stuff, all the domestic cups as well. So I don't see Chelsea strengthening a direct rival, but Klopp has elite talent ID. We all know that, and if he's familiar with Pulisic and what his strengths are, and he's super convinced that what Liverpool's place to be, and I think it would be a good move on paper, especially because even Pulisic needs a lot more game time, and I know he's like America's poster boy for the sport as well, so it would bring a lot more commercial appeal as well. So there's like a win-win situation for Liverpool, and I think he's a great player actually, and I don't understand why he's seen like so many fewer minutes at Chelsea, but he would be manic in a Liverpool shirt, man. It would be so fun to watch a front three with like Diaz and Pulisic and Salah and everybody. It'll be really fun. It's goals.
Yeah, Bob, we unfortunately football has got to a point now where commercial stuff is starting to take the forefront. We saw it with the Takumi Minamino signing, how much money that probably brought in for Liverpool from the East Asian market. But Christian Pulisic, I don't think it's going to happen because Todd Bowley's took over. But FSG, it's an American-based organization. If you bring Christian Pulisic in, we know how American fans are. They're very changed. They like to change their teams, and if their favorite player is to move to Liverpool, it could bring a lot of money in for the club. But with Klopp's previous with him, it seems like a deal that might potentially happen. My only issue is his injury. His injuries, that's been an issue for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say that as we were talking about wingers that are staying fit, if you're bringing him in to replace Mane, that's ability-wise might not be too much of a difference, but fitness record-wise is going to be a huge difference. And second point, like you said, the guy that's taking over at Chelsea now is American as well, so he's probably walking into a jewel there, ready to polish it off. And even if he wasn't there, Klopp likes him from his time at Dortmund, but the days of Chelsea or Man City selling us any players, I don't think are going to be happening anytime soon. And vice versa, by the way. I don't see us selling them players anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, his contract ends in two years. So they might have to, if you were to sell him, you might have to accept a little bit less than you were hoping for. But it's commercial wise, it makes sense. But for Liverpool, do you think it really makes sense to sign him? Every time he plays against us, he's very good. He's that Hazard-esque run where he made about 10 players and passed it through to, I can't remember who scored a couple of seasons ago. I mean, the quality is there from Pulisic, isn't it?
It is, yeah, but I wouldn't go near him, to be honest. He's not a great finisher, and he just spends a lot of time injured, to be honest. There's the odd game where he looks brilliant, but not on a consistent enough basis, and I think that's why he doesn't start every game at Chelsea. There's a reason for that. So I wouldn't go near him myself personally, and signing players for commercial reasons is never a good idea. If you look at Manchester United now, their whole structure has been based off signing commercial players, and look where they are. I think if you do it with someone like Minamino, where it's 7 mil, it's a no-brainer. You're not really doing it to bring him in for the first team. You are doing it for commercial, but to be signing players for 40, 50, 60 millions for commercial, it's just stupid. I wouldn't go for Pulisic myself.
So I've just had a look. They signed Pulisic in 2019 for 57.6 million. You know, it's probably going to take around that, I'd say, to pry him away from Todd Bowley and his hands. I mean, Colin, do you think 60 million is a good deal, or do you think that's probably, would you rather sign Rafinha, who we've talked about a lot this stream?
No, I think Pulisic has a higher ceiling than Rafinha at the moment, at least. And we've seen how players have improved leaps and bounds after signing for Liverpool, right? Like there's so many players that looked okay. Like is this like a good deal for Liverpool? And then they came here and like, wow, that's like an amazing deal for Liverpool. So even like we spoke about Pulisic's injury issues, but we also spoke about Zone 7, right? And Matip has been fit for the longest time this season, which afforded us time like to like rotate with Konate. And yeah, so Zone 7 reduced our injury issues by a third as well this season. So any signing that's potentially had injury issues before, like Pulisic, they come out to Liverpool, there's a lot of facilities here to navigate around that. And when you spoke about that sum, yeah, it seemed like a good deal, but what these sums are astronomical to throw around that unless they are like a certified front three starter. Because whoever is spending 60 or 70, 80 million on, you have to be convinced that this man is going to be starting every game for Liverpool in the Premier League and the Champions League. So I don't think Pulisic is that guy right now, but I'd still take him as a rotation option here.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby, since he's joined Chelsea in 2019, he's missed 43 games for them. And I know we've talked about Zone 7 and what they can do, but Liverpool don't really sign players with that injury record, and he didn't have that bad of an injury record at Dortmund. It seems something he's picked up when he's joined the Premier League. Do you think that could be a massive issue for if it was to come through, if he was to join Liverpool?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if we in the world where if we did end up signing him, I'd imagine then they're happy with all that they've seen, because I think we all had the same kind of worry about Konate before we got him in. Everybody was saying that he's injury prone and stuff like that. So, but they still brought him in, and it turns out that he's not as injury prone as we all thought he would be. So if they did end up signing him, I would believe that they've done their checks, what they need to do, and they're happy bringing him in. But otherwise, from the outside looking in, like you said, of that record there, it's not great. It's not great, and he's not really pushing to start every single game at Chelsea either.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, there is talent there. Do you think Klopp could maybe work with someone? I mean, when Salah's a Chelsea reject, we've seen how good he's done. There's a lot of Chelsea. I know he's not a reject, but there's a lot of Chelsea players who maybe haven't fulfilled the potential at Chelsea who went on to do great things. Do you think maybe that could happen under the guidance of Jurgen Klopp, and especially if Jurgen Klopp likes him as much as being reported?
Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, exactly. There's another one there.
Look, there's no doubt Pulisic has got talent. I'm not doubting that, but you don't spend 60 million on a player who's a squad player. It just doesn't make sense. And I just don't see Pulisic being anything other than a squad player. So to give 60 million for that to me is just mad, when you could probably pay an extra 20 and get someone like Nkunku, who should probably start every game if he hit the ground running. So that's the only reason. I'm not saying he couldn't do a job as a squad player. He could. I do like him. I just don't think he's worth 60 million, and I don't think he comes straight into the starting 11. I don't think you pay that type of money for a squad player. I just think it's a bit mad to do that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think these rumours have probably come up because of Klopp's relationship with Pulisic, and obviously there's a bit of maybe disconnect with Pulisic and Chelsea at the moment. Maybe him not reaching his potential as he was. I mean, I wouldn't say no. I think a lot of our American regulars, Dan, Drew, Matt, I know Jack, they definitely wouldn't say no to having an American in the squad. But I think it's unlikely for the price that's probably going to be quoted.